things I like about myself. Um, I try. I would put too many asterisks on too many of the um, positive things I might list. I am not a good person to ask about likable things about myself. Huh. A good childhood memory. Those are kind of contradictory terms. Um, let's see. Also, I'm old enough and childhood for me was short enough that there is a really small zone of things for me to even try to remember. Just about everything is tainted by the downsides and the bad things that came along with. Um, or things that came along later that make them sad in other ways. A friend of the family's mom used to be a teacher. Now, she and the friend of the family, and they are all passed on now, but I remember she used to babysit me sometimes, and she had a lot of books, and there are actually pictures of me being cute and happy in their house. And I remember liking it there. What do I think makes a person attractive? Jesus Christ, I don't know. I mean, I can appreciate aesthetics of people, but trying to categorize that is difficult. There is one thing that I have always found aesthetically pleasing, and that is light colored eyes on people with dark hair. Just, I have always found that to be a nice contrasting combination, but I don't have a good answer to that because I don't particularly think about it or look at people in that way on purpose. Also, attractive is the wrong word for me because that would imply that there was some attraction, which I don't have. I can try and frame it in aesthetics, but not exactly what it's asking either. Something that I've gotten over that I never thought I would. My brain is really bad about letting go of things. Even if I've gotten past the actively dwelling, my brain is still an asshole. So ignoring the asshole brain dragging things up that I have done my best to move past. Um, I don't have a good answer to that because there's things I intentionally don't let go because if I forgive and forget, that leaves me vulnerable to having it done to me again. And no. So let's just say that there are no bygones. My worst fear. Uh, Things could get worse. I am not in a great position mentally, physically, financially. But all three of those things could get worse. I don't particularly look forward to that. Do I have any secrets? Eh, not really. I have things I don't bother to talk about because either they're uncomfortable or they're not relevant to a person or a conversation. But I don't go out of my way to hide anything in particular about myself other than my physical form because I don't like it. I don't want to inflict the view of it on others. But no, I don't particularly have secrets. Not that are mine. I'll keep other people's secrets, but I don't particularly have any of my own. What person do I feel closest to? Um, been friends with one for longer, but I relate more in other ways to another. One of two friends, and I'm not sure which. Candies or cakes in my. I don't have much of a sweet tooth. I try to avoid it. I have to scrape icing off of cake because it's just it a mouthful of sugar that I do not enjoy. Um, so I don't have. It's not that I don't eat them. It's that I have a very limited ability to eat them without feeling very, very sick, just because it's too much. Um, because I have to eat them so sparsely, I can't say I'm fond of any of them. So, eh, I don't know. Do you remember your pet? I don't believe in past lives. So, no. I also I also don't have memories or dreams that give me any reason to think that they might be from something like that. An animal I feel connected to. Besides cats? Because the answer is cats, even when I'm not actually physically attached to one. I've had cats for almost my entire life, usually multiples. They're the ones that make the most sense to me. Also, they're great nap enablers. If you lay down and take a nap and they curl up next to you and then you open your eyes and, oh, well, she's still asleep. I could still be asleep too. Whether or not they're a good influence is an entirely separate question. But cats, do I drink? I am capable. I choose not to for a variety of reasons. An obscure tradition from. We didn't really have traditions. The closest thing I could get, and it's not particularly obscure, is there should be olives at Thanksgiving. Like the green ones. Mom and I would always get a jar of those. So that's the closest I can get. Favorite scent? None? No, there are some scents that I can actually handle um, and can be pleasant. There are some, but if they're done in a perfumed format, I think it's the way they're suspended that becomes literally painful, like allergic, choking, wheezing problem. So but there's some, like, the smell of fruit, some fruit more than others, but because I have to put asterisks all over the scent, none. Let's go with none. It's safest. Do I believe in love? Sure, I guess. I'm not sure I've ever experienced romantic love. Am I in love? No. I mean, I love some of my friends. Platonic love counts. So, yeah, I guess. Where do you dream of living? Oh, yeah, I don't bother letting myself think that far out because of the extraordinary circumstances that would be necessary to make it happen. My favorite herbs, so far as cooking goes. Oh, I don't know and use as many as I would like, or I don't know as many as I would like, so I don't use them. Herbs are leafier things, though, so out of the leafy ones, I guess I like oregano best. Maybe. Maybe oregano. Something you're insecure about but trying to love. Um, um, grudgingly tolerate doesn't count, so I don't have. Oop, did not mean to whack the mic. I don't have a good answer to that. Do you have any addictions? No. I try very hard to avoid that. Um, I don't have enough caffeine often enough to, I think, have an addiction there either. But I might, technically. A little bit of a headache for a day isn't a bad enough withdrawal for me to be concerned about it, though. And tobacco is one of those do not do that anywhere near me kind of things. Um, how would I describe my clothing taste? Comfortable and in colors that are not in the red, orange, or yellow area. I'm not as fond of those colors, at least partially because they're too loud for my brain, but also they look terrible on me. They they do bad things with my complexion, but just they can look great for other things and on other people. They are not for me. So comfortable and not those. Uh, I am a person who is variably awake during those. I am a night person. Whether or not that's what my brain and body are awake during this was a separate question. Um, but I'm a night person. A favorite memory. It makes me sad because he died. But I had gone to a pet shop because they had um, animals from a shelter out, and I was, greeting them and checking out the cats. I was looking at an adult cat because they don't get adopted as often. And, I wanted to, maybe be helpful and responsible in that way. When the cat that became mine reached through the bars of the cage he and his siblings were in and grabbed my shoelace. And being one of 3 soot sprites in that cage, I could tell him from his siblings because he had a piece of kitty litter stuck to the middle of his forehead. So, how I met my little boy. But that's all of them. So, yeah. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do for tomorrow yet.